All right, so what I'm using today is a 10-foot for 3-weight Orvis Recon specific Euro nymphing stick. What this rod does for you is it has some extra length, an extra foot over your standard 9-foot rod for some extra reach. The other thing it does is it has a very sensitive tip, and then the power is really only down here into the butt section for fighting larger fish. This is an excellent rod for nymphing. The age-old question is, do you need a specific Euro nymphing rod in order to Euro nymph? And the answer is absolutely not. You can Euro nymph with essentially any fly rod, from 3 to 5 weight. If you really want to get into the game, then I would suggest at some point purchasing a specific Euro nymphing rod. Like I said, these rods are designed specifically for that purpose. You can see here that my fly line is all on the reel. This is a straight mono leader, and the only time I ever see the fly line is if I'm fighting a big fish. Otherwise, I'm only working with a monofilament leader. Getting down to the business end of things, strip some line out here to get it in my hand. You can see here that there is a bright green and orange sighter. When Euro nymphing, you're staring at that sighter, and any twitch, any movement that appears to be going upstream, if you feel any ticks in the tip, there's a good chance that's a take, and that's where you should strike. At the bottom of the sighter is a small piece of tackle called a tippet ring. That tippet ring is attached to the bottom of the sighter, and then on that is my tippet. When you're Euro nymphing, the sighter never goes underneath the water. You're only fishing underneath the water from your tippet ring down, and that is where all of your on the water adjustments are made. So you can see that I'm probably fishing about 5 feet of tippet. The water is relatively low today because we are in the summertime, so I'm not fishing overly deep. As a matter of fact, for most of what I fished today, I could have been shallower than this. Coming down my tippet, we come to my first fly. It's a number 18 shot back nymph. And, oh, I don't know, maybe about 15 inches or so below that, 16 inches below that, is my point fly, which I like to use a slightly larger, heavier fly as the point fly. And the main skill is learning how to get both of these flies in the same seam all at the same time with nothing out of that seam. Once you achieve that skill, then you're well on your way to catching fish by Euro nymphing. I want to show you how I might approach this run from my backhand, because I do fish lefty, and hopefully you can learn something today. So what we have here is we have a chute coming in with some standing waves, which then funnels into a nice riffle run type of water here. And what I would like to do is I'm going to work both seams. I'll start with the near seam. If you look here, you can see where there's a patch of sunlight. That's where I believe a fish might be holding, all the way there down into the center of this run. I'll then switch over to the opposite bank, or the opposite side of the run, I'm sorry, and I'll fish that seam over there. If I don't pick any fish up on either of those two areas, then maybe we'll try the middle of the fast water. All right, so when you're Euro nymphing, the first thing you need to realize is it's a very close game. So waiting is part of your approach to catch fish. So I'm going to approach as closely as I feel I can without getting over top of the fish. I'm going to try to fish upstream 2 rod lengths and over and across 1. When I cast, I will have my reel hand holding the line and bringing in line as the fly drifts down the seam towards me. So let's go ahead and give this a go. Now, one thing that I like to try to do is when I cast, I like to tuck the fly so it hits the water first. And that gets me contact much earlier in my drift. I'll work over there to the other side. Oh, and there was a miss. Now, typically when I'm Euro nymphing, once the fly gets straight out across from me, I'm mostly done with my drift. Yes, I'll let it fish out, but I assume that I'm going to catch fish upstream of my position and sometimes dead across. Occasionally I'll pick up fish downstream of me, but that's a pretty rare occurrence. Let's see if we can get in here again. Good?
Let me see this thing.
Oh, he's little.
That's okay. Are you ashamed of him?
Got him? Yep.